Oh my gosh, it's so cold outside today. It was actually warmer earlier and I was sitting outside and then I took a break for a doctor's appointment and then came back out. Got colder, a lot colder. So today I wanted to talk about mental health and my journey with mental health. This is kind of sparked because yesterday or the day before was World Mental Health Awareness Day, I think. And people were sharing their stories and I thought that was so inspiring, and I was inspired to kind of share my own because I've dealt with anxiety, I've dealt with depression because of my health issues basically, and that's been a rough journey. I kind of had it when I was younger, and then when my health stuff was really bad, and then the anxiety kind of has been off and on, and then this year the depression has kind of come back off and on as well because my symptoms have just become so debilitating. So I kind of want to go over that and then also give a little teensy weensy update on some of my endo tests that I've done. Also relates to mental health because the meds for it are really scary and can really impact your mental health, which I'm scared about. So where to begin? God, I don't really even know where to start. Also, I'm really tired. So if I'm not making a lot of sense with a lot of stuff or mumbling my words, because I'm tired. I've had really bad stomach stuff the last like 2 days, and so I just don't feel good stomach wise. Side note. So starting kind of from the beginning, I got sick with either Lyme or maybe it was endometriosis or who knows what it was, but I did have a positive Lyme test. And that was when I was 14. It was the summer before my freshman year of high school. I was like a super happy kid up until that point. And then as soon as I got sick, I got really sick. I was in really intense treatments. One of them was like, I was on so many meds, like heavy duty meds, like 7 or 8, that my primary care doctor was like, you are going through a chemo treatment. Your body is going through a chemo treatment worth of meds right now. I was taking at one point 50 pills a day. You know, a lot of them are supplements, but it was incredibly traumatic for my body to go through. I had really debilitating symptoms. I mean, I was like healthy one day, developed a fever, felt super fatigued, and just was never felt better. I was a kid. I was a teenager. I was just going into high school. I was homeschooled at the time, but I was doing like 4 sports that summer. I was so active. I had my nonprofit. I was doing piano. I was involved in like so many things. And just like that, I was sick. And I felt very isolated because what other 14-year-old or even any high schooler is going to understand being so sick and wanting to do things but not being able to? It was very isolating. And so I got really depressed. And something else I want to talk about today is that depression can be very hard to spot with people. For me, people didn't believe that I was depressed. Like, I literally told someone, I said like, hey, I'm depressed, and they were like, you're not depressed. I've known people who were depressed and like they couldn't get out of bed. So I was hiding it, and I was really good at hiding it because I didn't want other people to worry, and like it was even more stigmatized when I was younger, and like other people my age didn't understand what I was going through unless they were going through something really hard, but like I wasn't talking about it and they weren't talking about it, so like we didn't connect. So there were some really hard nights, and my insomnia was really bad, and so I would get super depressed at night, and you know, it got really bad. I told myself I wouldn't cry during this video. It's okay to cry, but then I just get so derailed. I also get a headache when I cry. But it got really bad, you know, to the point where I still wanted to live, but the pain that I was in, like the emotional pain that I was in, and just the symptoms that I had too. I had so many symptoms, and so I was just in so much constant pain and discomfort that I was like, this is a magic bullet. You know, like, what if I wasn't here anymore? But the one thing that really kept me here was that I didn't want to pass on the pain. Suicide doesn't end the pain, it just passes it on. And I did not want my parents to have that pain, or other people in my community, or my friends, just people who knew me, to have that pain. And so really one of my saving graces was writing. I almost went to college for creative writing. I was writing so much. I submitted writing to the Scholastic Writing Awards. I won a gold key, which was so cool. I submitted to all these publications. I even got published a couple times in this like national publication. I mean, I was writing about like the deepest, darkest parts of myself so that I could get them out on paper and they wouldn't be inside me anymore. They were on paper and I could see them and I could process them. And I wrote a lot of poetry. I also wrote a lot of flash fiction. Those two were like my bread and butter. And I truly believe that writing is one of the things that helped me survive that time. Was just, it was my therapy. I was also going to therapy, so I was, I was trying to do all the things I could, but writing was just so incredibly helpful. And I found my niche in poetry and flash fiction. So that was an incredibly difficult time, and it was tough for most of high school. And once I got into college, I'd kind of learned like coping skills. I also found stoicism, I think my freshman year, or actually maybe the summer after my freshman year. And that for like a couple years completely took away my anxiety. It was crazy. Like, it is a huge mindset change of how to deal with anxiety. You can be aware of like future events or what could happen, but you don't have to be anxious about them. That sentence changed my life. But then I got really sick again and it's just been really difficult. It was kind of a slow decline over the last like 3 years to where I am now. And my like depression and anxiety is very much related to my health. And so I've gotten depressed again, and most people like wouldn't know that I am depressed. I've been really depressed over the last couple of weeks. Even people who, see me are like, oh my gosh, you look great. And while that's a compliment and I appreciate it, I'm really good at hiding that I am depressed. Like, I will just cry at the smallest of things. If I hear a song, or if I watch like a movie or a show that is moving, I read something, like I will just start crying. I can even just think about something sad and would cry. So I'm just kind of still on the edge of it, but definitely the last couple months have been tough because I've felt myself getting more depressed and then have been more depressed. So like something I really want to make clear is like depression can be invisible and people can look normal and fine, and you really have to pay attention and give someone your full attention and watch their body language and notice the moments like when they're not masking, and then you can kind of tell. Or you can ask like, hey, you look really good, but how are you really doing? And if someone asked me that, I probably would just immediately start crying and break down and like give them the truth. But also, like, if you don't really want to know, then like don't ask, because that can make it worse if you like open up to someone and they're not receptive. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to share my story because I've not talked much about mental health on this channel, the full story. So I just kind of wanted to share some of that because I think it's so important to talk about these things, that we all go through these things. Maybe not all of us, but we all have really hard times. A lot of us deal with anxiety and depression, and it helps to talk about it. It helps to reach out to people. I am constantly learning more and more about why I should reach out to people and open up. According to my therapist, you can actually regulate your emotions better with other people. I've always closed up, isolated myself, pushed other people away because I didn't want to burden them with stuff. And you actually can't regulate your emotions as well as if you are with someone else in their presence, talking to them, telling them about what's going on, and you can actually regulate your emotions better based on their emotions. Didn't know that, and so it's actually worse to just keep it to yourself, which I had no idea. So yeah, like if you're not, feeling good, please reach out to someone. This is something I have to remind myself of like every day, and I am trying to be better about it. It's also really hard right now because I just have so little energy, and so it takes energy to reach out to people and be honest about how you're doing. Really bad about isolating myself when I'm not doing well. So working on that. I'm a work in progress, as we all are. And something else that's been stressful is that the endometriosis meds that I've been looking into and that they want to prescribe for me. They can cause severe anxiety, depression, and suicidal thoughts. I was reading all these reviews and one woman was like, day 1 through 3 I was fine, day 4 I had increased anxiety, day 5 I was like suicidal. And that's really scary because meds can influence our emotions as well, and I don't feel super stable right now emotionally, and so something like a medication can completely change your brain, and I don't want to take one of these meds and then regret it. So that's just been super scary and something that I've been doing a ton of research on and really trying to educate myself and letting my support people know that this is something that I might need to try and that I'm nervous about it, and like, please check in on me. So yeah, we'll see. I had a bunch of blood work done yesterday, and some of it has come back today and some of it is high or low or whatever. It's like abnormal. So I'm really interested to see what the doctor says about those results. I'm seeing a rheumatologist tomorrow, and then on Friday I'm seeing the endometriosis team to get more testing done in person as well. So there's just like a lot happening. I'm seeing the endo doctor again next week, and then the GYN appointment I waited for since June, I finally will get in to see him next week, and I'm so excited about that. So there is just like a lot going on, a lot of doctor's appointments this month, and I'm really hoping that some of this will show things and we can move forward with treatments. I'm really nervous because next Tuesday would be the next pain cycle, and I'd prefer not to have, what would this be, the 6th pain cycle in 5-6 months. So I'm hoping I don't have it, but we shall see. I will keep you all updated. By next Wednesday I will have either had it or I will have not had it, and so fingers crossed I don't have the next pain cycle. But yeah, thank you for listening to some of my story. I hope that it helps other people maybe feel less alone, maybe feel like they could reach out to someone. I just hope it helps someone, and if it helps no one else, it helps me to open up, be vulnerable. It can be really scary to be vulnerable because if people don't take it well or are mean, that makes people want to like close back up. So try to be gentle, try to be kind with your words. Yeah, let's be a supportive community. So thank you for listening, and I'm going to go rest because this conversation is taking it out of me and I'm tired. So, and a walnut has just fallen. That's my cue. All right, bye everyone.